Welcome everyone. Today's story is about an ordinary man facing an unexpected night that tests his patience, kindness, and strength. It's a realistic story that shows how small moments can create meaningful connections and change the way we see life. The title of today's story is The Last Train Home. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories that inspire and teach. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1. A very long day, Daniel woke up before sunrise, like he did every weekday. The room he rented was small and cold, but it was all he could afford. He checked the time, drank a quick coffee, and left for work. The construction site was loud and demanding. Daniel carried heavy materials, followed strict instructions, and worked under pressure. He didn't complain. He needed this job. His family depended on him, and quitting was not an option. That evening, everything went wrong. A delivery arrived late, and the supervisor asked everyone to stay longer. By the time Daniel left work, the sky was dark, and his body ached. He rushed through the streets, hoping to catch the last train home. When he arrived at the station, he saw the doors closing. The train was gone. Daniel stood there, staring at the empty tracks. His heart sank. There were no more trains until morning. Chapter 2. Waiting in the dark. The station slowly emptied. The lights felt too bright, and the silence was heavy. Daniel sat on a bench, rubbing his hands to stay warm. He checked his phone. The battery was almost dead. He sent a short message to his mother, working late. "I'm okay." Hours passed. Around midnight, a woman sat nearby. She looked tired, her uniform slightly wrinkled. After a moment, she spoke. "Long night?" she asked. Daniel nodded. "Missed the last train." "Me too," she replied. "I'm Sarah. I'm a nurse." They started talking quietly. Sarah told him about her shift, how she stayed late with an elderly patient who was scared to be alone. Daniel listened carefully. In return, he spoke about his family, his job, and the pressure of being far from home. The station didn't feel as cold anymore. Chapter 3. A test of character at 2 a.m. A security guard announced that the station would close for cleaning. Everyone had to leave. Outside, the streets were almost empty. Sarah looked nervous. "I don't feel safe walking alone," she admitted. Daniel hesitated. He was tired and worried about himself, but he couldn't leave her alone. "I'll walk with you," he said. They walked together until they found a small cafe still open. Inside, the lights were warm, and the smell of coffee filled the air. Daniel ordered tea with the little money he had left. They sat in silence for a while, listening to the rain outside. Then Sarah's phone rang. Her brother was nearby and could pick her up. Before leaving, she placed some money on the table. "For your train in the morning," she said softly. Daniel tried to refuse, but she smiled. Kindness should be returned. Chapter 4. Morning light. As the sun rose, Daniel boarded the first train home. He looked out the window, watching the city wake up. He thought about the night the missed train, the long wait, and the stranger who became a friend for a few hours. Life had tested him, but it had also reminded him of something important. Even in difficult moments, choosing to do the right thing matters. When Daniel arrived home, he felt exhausted but calm. He called his mother. "I'm home," he said. "It was a hard night, but I learned something." Sometimes the longest nights teach us the strongest lessons. In this story, we followed Daniel through a long and difficult night after missing the last train home. What seemed like bad luck became a lesson about patience, responsibility, and human connection. By choosing to stay, listen, and help, Daniel discovered that kindness often appears when we least expect it. Now that we've reflected on Daniel's experience, let's take a moment to think deeper about the story. Questions for you. What would you have done if you were in Daniel's place? Do you think missing the train was a bad thing or a hidden opportunity? Which moment in the story affected you the most, and why? What lesson did this story teach you about life? Thank you for listening and sharing your thoughts.